Okay, so today we're going to be talking about 5 fish that are super easy to breed that I reckon you guys should all be trying at home. For all you guys who don't know, my name's Nick and I run a pretty big fish room here in Brisbane, Australia with a fish shop you guys can come and visit. We make fish food, we make a ton of fish, and I've been doing some really interesting breeding projects here in the back room lately, and today I thought I'd try and share with you guys some of the things that you might see in the stores but not know is actually really easy to breed, and some little fun projects that might be cheap or really good for breeding for profit or just fun to have a go at that you may never have considered. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first fish on my list is going to be Minnows. This is a fish I've only just started to play with here in the fish room, and I kind of just did it for fun because they're so easy, they're really affordable, and I'd never done them before. I don't know what it was. I think sometimes I get a little bit caught up in my breeding projects and I try and do things that are really difficult, or, you know, they're not really difficult, but they're quite labor intensive. So like picking eggs and things like that. And it'd been a while since I'd just done one of the easy classic fish here in the fish room that you can just kind of mass spawn and create hundreds of fish with really no effort. And you can see the results are right here. So these are really easy fish to care for in general. You could probably leave them outside and then honestly survive year round. They can take cold water, warm water, and a wide variety of different parameters. These are white cloud minnows in here. These are just the standard ones you can get. You'll get gold ones, long fin ones. They all pretty much are the exact same. So these are egg layers, specifically they're egg scatterers. So the way I bred these was I, put an adult group in here, plumped the females up, and had like a little spawning basket. Put the parents in there, they spawned, the eggs fell through so they couldn't eat them, and these are all the babies that I've raised up. They're only a month old, so they grow really quickly as well. These are going to cost you like $6 max at the store, probably even less depending on where you are in the world. So they're very easy to get a hold of and then to breed as well and grow up and to create hundreds of, and they're just fun. So they're not something you're going to make money on. They are something you can just do to get involved with breeding fish and trying out different things and having some success as well. And for egg scatterers, these are about as easy as it gets. The fry are very tiny, so I do feed them bug buffet and then slowly transition them on to a little bit of live baby brine shrimp, but the bug buffet seems to feed them for the first few days, and they are so easy in fact that I bred some in a bucket, and I've got a video on that too that you guys can go ahead and watch. It's quite interesting and just shows you how easy this fish is to breed. So my first fish is going to be white cloud minnows. Even for experienced aquarium people, I feel like you should just every now and then just do something that's really easy, like super novice level, but kind of just goes back and refreshes you and reminds you of like what it was like to start. This is definitely one of those fish for me. Okay, so the next fish is going to be a really easy one. Again, probably more affordable for a lot of people across the world. In Australia, these are a little bit more pricey, but they're a little bit more of an oddball fish and something that you're going to have to do as well, like as its own breeding project, but are so fun, so rewarding to do. And I've found super hands-off and really not labor intensive. And this is going to be Hillstream Loaches. I've got a video on how to breed these too. Super easy fish again. Basically, all you need to do is do a tank setup right, and within a few months, you're going to start seeing lots and lots of baby Hillstream Loaches appearing in your tank. And this is a tank that I've just recently dismantled and taken down. The way you breed these fish is they come from like rocky streams, I think in China. And all you have to do is make like basically huge rock piles in a fish tank, get an adult breeding colony, so adult males and adult females, chuck them in the tank. I feed them bug buffet, green cuisine, smash it up in the tank everywhere, and it feeds them really well. I also feed them live baby brine shrimp. And then after a few weeks, you'll start seeing like little babies at night. If you come in with a torch, like tiny little babies, they all grow up and you're left with hundreds of them, like you can see in this tank here. They're super duper easy, and as a fish in general, they're just really easy to care for too. Like I've never had really any issues with caring for them or them being fragile. They're very easy to take care of. They can go high oxygenation, low oxygenation. I've found they're fine in low oxygenation. They can go in a wide temperature variety. I've kept them in 20 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius, and they do all the exact same. They're really easy to feed. They are little algae eaters as well, so they do help clean tanks a little bit, and they're interesting looking too. So like I feel like kids would really like this as a project, especially because you set it up and it's like setting up like a little colony, which I really enjoy. I love colony spawning fish. So this is something that you definitely probably haven't considered doing. That would just be really easy, little 10-gallon tank setup that you could do in an apartment or at home. And yeah, it could be really fun and also could be slightly profitable depending on how much these cost where you are. So my next fish is going to be a little bit more of a labor intensive fish and probably a little bit more of a pricey fish, but something that I think is really easy and a lot of people could definitely try out. And this is going to be Pseud Luminatus. So these are little red neon blue eyes, and I've been breeding these for about 18 months and I found them to be super easy and super rewarding. They're probably one of my favorite fish in the entire hobby nowadays. I'm not sure why these aren't more popular. Maybe they are across the world, but I just haven't noticed them to be like super popular. They're a tiny little blue eye, obviously, and they're an egg layer. So they're very similar to rainbow fish. They come from New Guinea. And literally all I do to breed these fish is keep them in a 20-gallon tank like this with a sponge filter and the spawning mop. And I basically check the spawning mop every day for eggs, and I find eggs in there. All I do for the fish is you get like a colony of like 10 of them, and then when they become adults, the males and the females breed pretty much every day in the mop when you keep the tank at about 22 to 25 degrees Celsius. I feed them bug buffet and I feed them live baby brine shrimp, and it seems to help them lay a lot of eggs. When I pick the eggs out, I put them into a tray and hatch them out in there, and the fry are pretty tiny, but I feed them bug buffet from day one as well. And then I transfer them to a grow out tank, and pretty much from there, it's super easy. I've got videos on how to breed these too. They're probably like a 3 out of 10 hardness for breeding for me. I don't find them to be difficult at all. The only thing that's a little bit annoying is they are kind of pricey, like $30 a fish at the moment. Well, here in Australia, at least they might be cheaper overseas. They're definitely something good too for if you want to try and make a little bit of money, because they're a nano fish, and nano fish seem to just be really popular right now. You can see just how beautiful they look. I don't know if my phone's gonna be picking that up, but like, they're freaking stunning fish. I've got these in my living room at home, and they're honestly like one of the nicest looking freshwater fish you can get. Yeah, Pseud Luminatus, I reckon people should be having a go at, and we should be trying to breed up and, you know, get populations of this fish out in the hobby. I'm putting a lot of effort into it still to try and smash out as many as I can, especially with the temperatures being a little bit cooler here in the room, and it giving me a bit of a better opportunity to try and breed these. So yeah, Pseud Luminatus. Alrighty, so the fourth fish is going to be another egg scatterer, kind of similar to the white cloud minnows, but in between being a white cloud minnow and kind of like a colony breeder. And these are going to be emerald rasboras. These are really, really pretty nano fish as well. They're really skittish, which is kind of annoying, but when I step back from this tank and I'm not here, you do see these fish kind of flaring around and being cool. They are a little bit more pricey at the moment, and they're definitely something someone could breed for profit. They're in the same family as CPDs. In fact, I think they can crossbreed with CPDs, so celestial pearl danios. But the way I breed these is I have them set up in this tank exactly as you can see, with this container here, and the container has a spawning mop in there. Feed them bug buffet, I feed them the brine shrimp. I check this container for eggs every day, and pretty much every second day there's a good 20 to 30 eggs in there. All I do is transfer them to a grow out tank, throw the eggs in there, and the fry pretty much grow up. And when they start free swimming, I feed them some bug buffet. As you can see, I feed bug buffet to everything. And then I raise them up to adult size, and they always sell. They're very, very popular, and people buy them in groups of 10. So that's what I'd recommend if you guys want to try and breed this fish. Buy a group of 10, grow them out, and try and breed them the exact same way. They're very easy to take care of. They're probably a little bit more like sensitive to changes and things like that, but they're not a sensitive fish at all. They're very hardy, and I find these easier to breed than celestial pearl danios. They're again one that you're going to get a lot of action with. You're going to, you know, be very hands-on with. They're just an interesting little egg scatterer, and they're so easy. I think so many people should be trying to breed things like this in their fish room. You know, a lot of people just try and do one thing, whether it be catfish or whatever, where I feel like people should be trying to do a bunch of different things to keep their interests high. And this is one of those fish that just constantly makes me feel like I'm moving forward, because I'm always seeing eggs. They're always set up the same way, and I've always got little babies of them somewhere, and it's just a really rewarding nano fish to breed. And yeah, we sell tons of these online and in store as well. So emerald rasboras are definitely a good one. Okay, and so the last fish on our list is going to be another really, really easy one that you can quickly make hundreds of, and this is going to be Praecox rainbow fish. This is a tank here full of babies, and I've just used this tank as an example to show you how many of these you can easily make. This is just one batch, and there's probably a good 120 in here, and I don't think I did that good of a job even on this batch. So rainbow fish in general are just really easy to breed. I think people have been up and on about them for a while now. The Praecox I find are probably the best rainbow fish to breed if you've never done it before, because firstly, they stay the smallest. I think they're probably in the top 5 for the most colorful, definitely. And they're super abundant, but they're also really easy to move. And rainbow fish, one of the reasons you don't see them a lot in the hobby is because they're not really commercially viable because they take so long to grow. These ones do take a long time to grow. Like, these are already 2 months old and they have barely even gotten over a centimeter in size. But the thing that's different about praycocks is they get their color quick. It doesn't mean that you have to sit on them for a year before you can sell them. You can pretty much get these up to sellable size within 3 to 4 months, which is okay for a fish species. But the way they breed is you set up a tank exactly like this. You add a spawning mop, but the way I do it, instead of picking the eggs like I do with the blue eyes, I just leave the eggs in here and take all of the adult fish out and let the eggs hatch out in here, feed them bug buffet and raise them up until they're about this size where I can move them to a bigger tank and finish their grow out. But they're a really interesting one, super easy as well. And when the males start flaring up at each other, it's just so phenomenal. I've also got these in my tank in my living room at home. They're within the top 3 rainbow fish for me. So again, they can be a little bit sensitive and they're normally on the cheaper side for rainbow fish. So I charge, I think, $12 for one of these. I think overseas I've seen them for less than that. They can be a little bit sensitive when you get them, but once you get them settled in your aquarium, feeling at home, they become one of the easiest fish to take care of. And especially if you can get some babies and raise those babies up in your water, they're going to be super hardy. Yeah, praycocks are definitely one that I think people should be trying at the moment. And they do have the potential to make you a little bit of money as well, just because you can produce so many, and you can do this also really easily too. So thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.